Hello, everybody. My name is Roy Nemmer of Mundo, Albiceleste.com. Once more, I am joined by the one, the only, Seba Garcia. Seba, how are you today?
Hello. Well, mixed emotions really, but I will have to start with happy with 3 points, happy with place in the quarterfinals guaranteed, and on to the next, on to the next games.
Yes, on to the next game, which will be next Monday, actually. So, in 1 week's time versus Bolivia, as we get the rest, so to speak, in midweek. Um, before we get started in all this, we see a couple of people in the chat. So if you're in the chat, let us know. I have Sopan Roy, who says boring match. So we're going to talk about that. Wes Mills says pragmatic from Scaloni. Christopher says, I thought it was a great game. Excited seeing Papu play. Other people saying a win is a win. So some mixed emotions, some mixed thoughts, and we will we will be getting to all of this. First off, if you missed it, Argentina with the 1-0 win, Papu Gomez with the goal. We're going to discuss all that. The starting 11, a lot of talk. Will Messi play? Won't he play? He's going to be rested for this match versus Bolivia. Ultimately, it was the 4-3-3, and it was Emiliano Martinez as the goalkeeper, Molina, Romero, Pesela, Tagliafico as the back four. So no Nicolas Otamendi, Paredes, Guido, and Papu Gomez in midfield. And the front three that we saw maybe almost 10 years ago now of Messi, Aguero, and Di Maria. Seba, what did you think of the 11?
Well, I have to agree with. First of all, thanks everybody for sending us questions, and I always enjoy being joined by a lot of people from all over the world. So keep it coming, keep your comments coming. This is what makes it worthwhile for us, and obviously it enriches everything that we can speak about. You guys give it a sense and different perspective. So keep it coming. We want to hear from you what you think of the game. What I think about the starting 11, I agree with in principle. I agree with the rotation in terms of not so much the rival, but the calendar and the fact that we knew Paraguay was well rested. They had the first game, and then they had a bye week, so they had fresher legs than we had. So that was an element to consider, and I think it was something that Scaloni did in search for keeping everybody involved, giving the team a little bit more energy, maybe he looked for some solidity at the back, more experience up front, giving the old guard a run. And in the end, it paid off because we won. And now we're going to face Bolivia. Very likely we will see the return of the core of the team. Maybe this was an indication of Scaloni saying, okay, this is my second string team, and I can still beat what's ahead of me. So maybe what's in front of me. So maybe start with that, saying that I agree with Scaloni mixing it up a little bit. I didn't like the result. I didn't like what I saw so much. But yeah, the 3 points. And obviously, I think Messi was not rested. Maybe because he didn't want to, and he said, "Okay, I want to play." But one thing that it's could be an indicator of how Scaloni does things. During the day, we heard like 5 or 6 different lineups. The rumors were flying around. Messi's not playing was the first rumor during in the morning, and then we heard a back line of 5. Then we heard Papu was playing, Papu wasn't playing, Guido and Paredes together. Then for a long time, it felt like Lisandro Martinez was going to play, but he didn't. So I don't know if that is Scaloni trying to play the rumors game, or him making up his mind during the day. I don't know. I don't know what went on, but that was what transpired, and that was what we heard. And in the end, it looked like he was improvising a little bit, but I don't think he was that much. I think there was some sense to what he did.
Yeah, I mean, we were texting each other throughout the day in terms of, well,
Yeah.
this is, well, it's going to be a back five, it's going to be a back three, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. And I think part of it was Scaloni kind of keeping the media guessing because it's been like this for several years where, the Argentina 11 kind of gets leaked or gets announced 24, 48 hours before kickoff. So maybe that's something Scaloni's trying to change. He's not very happy about it. Versus Uruguay and obviously tonight versus Paraguay, he did not reveal the 11 beforehand. And I think it's good. I think it's good. It's exciting, at least for us, because it gives us something to talk about. But at the same
Yeah.
time, for the opponent as well, it kind of leaves them guessing in terms of, okay, well, and I'm not necessarily talking about if Messi's going to play or not, but just in terms of, well, how are they going to line up? What players are they going to use? And in the end, when I saw the 11, I was actually quite happy. I was quite happy because this was more or less, like you said, the second string team, right? It was the B team, so to speak, and we were still able to get the 1-0 win, despite Paraguay getting a week's rest, despite the players being fatigued, because clearly a lot of them, were very, very fatigued,
Mhm.
and we still managed to get the goal, and it was a well-worked goal. It was a nice goal.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, no doubt
Yeah.
about it. Yeah, we can be pragmatic as well and say, okay, now we have a team that is well rested. We're gonna have a bye week, and then
Hmm.
like on Thursday, everybody will play. All the other teams will play in our group, but we will be resting. So we will face Bolivia with a fresher legs, and very likely there could be we could talk a little bit about it down the line, but
Yeah.
we could very well be facing Bolivia with the top two guaranteed, depending on other results. So all in all, that is fantastic. It would have been
Yeah.
even better if we beat Chile in the first week, but that is already past us. So
Yeah.
I think we can talk a little bit more. We can start talking a little bit about how we played and about one thing that good morning Bangladesh, good morning Malaysia. I saw some of the comments there. Good morning everyone. It's almost midnight here, but good morning to you all. But we can start talking about the game. And there is
Yes.
one point that I wanted to make. I was thinking, okay, this is something that I really want to say. First of all, how we seem to score more in the first half than in the
Hmm.
second half of matches.
Yeah.
Um, I was reviewing. Ziggy was sending us the information as well. Hello, Ziggy. Whenever you see this, I think you're sleeping now. But um, the last time we scored in the second half was Javier Correa scoring in Bolivia for a
Right.
2-1 win in La Paz, which was big, really big. But apart from that, we're only scoring in the first half. So that could be a bit of a pattern that it's a bit concerning and it's a bit worrying. But it's also, I think it's also something that Scaloni is looking for. I mean, not he's not looking for a team that doesn't score in the second half, but he's looking for that kind of game in which we start by playing great. Sometimes we play very well most of the time until we score. So my
Yeah.
question is, what happens after we score? And uh,
Uh,
that
that's a
was
very
quick.
good
That
question.
was quick. It's almost as we rehearsed it. But what happens? What happens after we score? What
I
is
don't
going on?
know. I don't know, and it's almost as if scoring twice versus Colombia was a fluke because, like you
Yeah,
said, they score once and that's it, and they're and it's not as if they don't get chances later on. They do, but it's like they don't want the chances. They get the goal and they sit back, and I don't know if it's Scaloni trying to play off the counter attack because if that's the case, it's not working. It's not
no,
working, and I don't know if it's the fact that the team played the two qualifiers in Copa America and the team's tired. I don't know what it is.
yeah, could be a bit of a fatigue there as a cause of what we're seeing,
Mhm.
but I think it's pretty clear. We see us score and then we sit back a little bit. And the worrying thing, I have no problems with that. I mean, Alejandro Savera used to do that a
Yeah,
lot. We used to sit back and the field was big enough for us to hit everybody in the counterattack, and we were scoring for fun in the counterattack. But it's the second part of the equation that is lacking for us right now, because we sit back and we don't seem to know how to play the counterattack. We're not creating any chances after that. In the second half, I think only when Angel Correa came on really late in the game that we had a shot on goal, and it
Yeah,
wasn't like a
it
very
was Messi.
clear cut opportunity. Messi, yeah.
Yeah,
He's quoted to Messi, and but I think it's worrying that we have one part of the equation right, and also you have to say on the positive side, we don't concede any shots, like
at
very
all.
dangerous shots. Paraguay had two today, but I don't remember Emi Martinez having to make a world class save. It was maybe there were, those shots on target that appear on
Mhm.
the statistics, but they're not really goal
Dangerous.
opportunities, dangerous. So that is another way of seeing
Yeah,
this phenomenon that we are seeing. That we score, we play well until we score, and well, I
that's
hope
it.
next time we score in the 89th minute or something like that.
Be careful what you
We're
wish
like,
for. Be careful what you wish for. But I mean, you brought up a point and a very valid one where under Sabella we did play that counter attack. But obviously, when you look at the players that we had back then, I mean,
yeah,
Messi, Prime, Aguero, Di Maria, Higuain, obviously you can't really compare it to what we have now. But it's almost as if Scaloni's trying to play that way, but it's either I'm not sure if he has the players for it. I mean, he had the players for it, but he left them off. Ocampos, Buendia, and a couple of others. He had them
yeah,
left them off, and I'm not sure if it's the fact that he doesn't have the players anymore, or maybe he doesn't know how to set them up to play that way,
yeah.
because it's very rare that we see that.
Yeah, because again, today when Agüero was replaced, we can talk a little bit about the individual
Mhm.
performances. But when Agüero was replaced, again, I failed to understand what Joaquin Correa's position was. What was his
Yes,
role? He was more worried about Paraguay's right back going up the field and marking him, and he was more worried about that than thinking about helping us score a second goal. Maybe that was what he was sent on to do. It's not
maybe.
his fault.
Yeah,
But you lose rhythm, you lose shape, you lose the intensity, and then in the second half, when Paraguay was also feeling the fatigue of the game and feeling the effort because they had to. I don't imagine Paraguay playing like this, like most of the game, the same way. If the score was 0-0, they would have
no,
been happier with that point,
yeah,
or they would have waited a little bit. But then
yeah.
they took the game on, they grabbed our necks, and they were trying their best
They were
to
close.
filter our defense, but they couldn't. And then when they stopped being so intense, we had the ball a little bit in the last stretch of the game, but we were not aiming for the goal. We were trying to keep possession, try to draw a foul, trying to waste the time. But yeah, all in all, I think we have to consider that this was the substitutes. There
Yeah.
was a This was a long period of consecutive games. We're now gonna get a breather,
Mhm.
um, and we are top of the group. So, being pragmatic, you have to be happy with this. I mean, in that sense,
Absolutely, absolutely, and everything you just mentioned. And at the end of the day, we are top of the group, right?
yeah,
The team's tired. Scaloni did several rotations, changed the team up a lot. They still came up against a Paraguay side who's in good form. It's not as if Paraguay's lost their last 10 matches. This is a pretty good
hmm
Paraguay team.
yeah,
And still got a 1-0 win with the players that are, that are tired and everything. And MN brings up a valid point, and it's he writes, we need a goal scorer really bad. And that leads me to the goal itself, because the
yeah,
goal itself, it was Messi got the ball, dribbled forward, passed it to Di Maria, your favorite player, held the ball up very well, and played a great through ball. It has to be said, a very, very good through ball to Papu Gomez, who was onside, the little dink chip, 1-0. Seba, what did you think of the goal? Guys, everyone in the chat, what did you think of the goal? What did you think of the pass? Let us know. Seba.
no, that was really well worked. I mean, and it came really early on. It helps you settle down. Um, and I think the vision by Di Maria was amazing. Um, I wish we could see more of that. We could have seen more of that, because that is my issue with him. It's not because I think he can't play football. I obviously think he can, but when the expectations are really high because a player is coming from a great season or playing at a very very good level, playing Champions League football, winning leagues, playing in big clubs in Europe, you expect that player to make a difference. Tonight, he did it in that moment, um, in that play. I think Papu was great as well, pointing
Mhm.
to the empty spot where he was making the run behind a couple of or three Paraguayan players, and Di Maria. Paraguay respected the fact that Di Maria can shoot from outside, so he was
Yeah,
doing all the motions as if he was going to shoot from there, and then he cut through the defense with that fantastic pass. I think that was great, and then the finish was top draw. I mean, he just put it was one of those goals you score in five aside or playing in the
yeah.
streets. Papu has that. He brings that to the table, and it was amazing. What a
It,
way to to mark his first start in the Copa America.
Absolutely, and at the age of, I believe he's 33, and it wasn't an easy finish because the goalkeeper was coming
No,
out, and Papu had to, had to adjust his body, had to, make the turn. The goalkeeper was out, he had to dink it. So it was a great run, great pass by Di Maria, great goal. And then obviously, I mean, I'm reading the chat, and we're going through the chat as you were talking, Seba. Everyone said, great finish by Papu, great assist by Di Maria. So everyone were kind of aligned, and a couple of people even said, Seba, we thought about you when Di Maria played that pass.
yeah, I know. A lot of people send me WhatsApp messages. Yeah, I
Yeah,
wish, I wish that people, everybody, they're
yeah,
all welcome. I wish they texted me like all the time
yeah.
since 2010 maybe, but anyway, no, let's not get into that. Let's
Let's
not get into that. I'm happy because he contributed today for the game, for the team.
Yes,
I still don't think he should be starting for us when the first string is picked. I don't think he should be there, like what we saw previously, but I'm happy
hmm
that he contributed tonight. Then I think
no,
as the game went on, both him and Papu, because of the way we were playing, I don't think it was their fault. It was more the setup. It was more us losing the ball. It was more us losing the purpose, that they
hmm
started fading out because they were more worried about defending, and they're not. That's not their favorite aspect of the game. That's not what
no,
what they're known for. So I think that affected them in particular, and both of them were withdrawn. I think rightly so, because they were losing some of the impact that they had in the first half. They
yeah.
were, to me, in my opinion, they were the top two players for Argentina in the first half.
No, and I agree. And I mean, you mentioned Di Maria, and you said, maybe moving forward, he's not necessarily someone that you sorry, that you would start, right? So for you, Bolivia versus Bolivia, you don't start Di Maria. Is that it? If I'm understanding?
No, I'll go with what we've seen in the game against Uruguay. I think that
hmm
that is more likely what Scaloni is going to pick. Um,
Okay. Now,
and
if sorry,
yeah,
just jumping ahead. Sorry, just
yeah,
jumping ahead a little bit regarding the match
yes,
versus Bolivia. So if we take a look here, obviously, we have Argentina first in the table, Chile second, Paraguay, Uruguay, and then Bolivia pretty much on nothing. I guess Bolivia's almost,
hmm
pretty much almost out of it.
hmm
How do you see the table shaping up here? I mean, if we take a look and you look at Group B, the other group, it's
yeah,
not easy.
yeah. I can tell you one thing that I was thinking today. The smell of Brazil Uruguay in the quarterfinals
Ooh,
really, really wakes up my appetite. I really want to see that. But apart from others, looking at Argentina, I think we're looking good. Obviously,
mhm,
that's pretty obvious. That is an understatement. But the beauty of it is that now we're going to be rested. Chile will play Paraguay, so between them, they will take points of one another. And
yeah,
if they draw, if there is a draw, that's Chile done. they will be below us, and Paraguay will be on 4 points, and then they will need to beat Uruguay in the last round, and combine that with a defeat by Argentina to finish in the top 2. So, obviously, the first thing first. If we beat Bolivia, or if we get a draw, we will more likely be in the top 2. And what we always mention, remember, it is very important for us to finish in the top 2, because that way you will avoid an early meet up with Brazil. So I think it's good. I think one of the factors that sometimes we don't take into consideration is that the teams that are chasing us are going to face each other. So they're going to be it's going to be a war for what looks like to be a war for second spot in the group, because as we've been mentioning, it's the ticket for you to avoid an early encounter with Brazil.
And it's true. I mean, I remember we spoke about this after the Chile match, or maybe even before that. We said Argentina has the most. This is the most difficult group of the two. I don't think there's really any argument. The most difficult group. But not only that, Argentina have the most difficult schedule, starting off against Chile, then Uruguay, then Paraguay, and you're not getting a rest. There was no bye week for Argentina. I mean, Paraguay had that 1 week's rest. For Argentina, it was one after another. Then you get the rest, and then you get kind of the easier team in the group in Bolivia, and then who knows what you get later on in the knockout stages. So for Argentina, this has to be a big boost in confidence. It has to.
Absolutely. And this was the difficult stretch. I think it was over today, because you face the top 3 other teams in the group, and now you're probably going to face Bolivia already eliminated in the last round. That is a possibility, and it's good because now you can balance your energy a little bit more. Now you can go back with your top group of players, with your first 11, and because you don't want to rest them against Bolivia, you want them to go all out. You want them to go all out, try to score as many as possible, try to bring your confidence levels up, try to get a complete performance and not just until you score the first one, and then be ready for the quarterfinals.
No, absolutely. And there's actually a valid point. Anthony Garcia, hello Anthony, and hello to everyone in the chat. He mentions also Group A finishes first, so we can see beforehand who we could face in the quarterfinals. So that, I'm not sure if the players would really, if they decide, if we get a draw, we face this team, or if we get a win, we face this team. I don't think they're like that, but at the same time, it is nice to know who you're going to face instead of winning, and then you kind of have to see the other matches.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if this wasn't rehearsed. If you have the standings again to put it there, if you want to go again, absolutely. Because we haven't spoken about the other group, which contains all our possible rivals, and this is something that I was surprised yesterday, because Peru defeated Colombia, and we all know what Peru can bring, can do. We know their potential, but they tend to collapse in the big stages. But yesterday they played very, very well. They beat Colombia, and now Colombia has only one game to go, and that's Brazil. So if Peru beats Venezuela, if I'm not mistaken, they have to play Venezuela up next.
Well, let's take a look at the matches. Let's take a look at the matches.
I think they also have to play Ecuador. That's it. Yeah, they have pretty much their destiny in their own hands, because if they beat Ecuador and Venezuela, both are likely results, and Brazil beats Colombia, then Peru guarantees second spot in their group, and that could leave us with the possibility of, who knows, how low can Colombia go, and maybe we face Colombia, or maybe we face Ecuador, who knows. But it's pretty open, apart from Brazil, who are gonna win the group. I guess everybody agrees with that. But it's interesting how the other group is shifting up and is looking up, and I think it's early to start looking at potential rivals, because there's still a lot of football to be played, but we are guaranteed in the quarterfinals after tonight, and I think it's a good exercise, at least for us, to start
It's
thinking of the possibilities. Yeah.
who no, absolutely, it's fun, and like I said, it was similar to kind of predicting the starting 11 that Scaloni is going to go with because you don't really know,
Yeah.
and it's fun for us, and hopefully it's fun for everyone in the chat. But let me know. So Seba, who would you like to face in the next round? And guys, everyone in the chat, who would you like to face in the next round?
I wouldn't like this Venezuela team because they have nothing to lose. They're afraid of no one. They have been hit by the COVID outbreak and they had to bring a lot of emergency players, but they have been great. They kept Brazil at bay for a long time. Then they play a great game against Ecuador. They could have won it. Um, it's still up there. They could be eliminated yet, but if they they have a chance to finish fourth and then play against us. I also think on paper and in theory we have what it takes to beat them anyway. But
Yeah,
I wouldn't like to be playing them. But of course, I would try to avoid Colombia because we know the kind of trouble they can
yeah.
put us under, and they are also in danger of falling into that spot. Um, I would just be happy to finish in the top two and avoid the boys in yellow. Yeah, and
I
I'm
think
not
that's
talking about
everyone, right?
Ecuador. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
No, no, no. I think everyone would like to avoid Brazil, and I think
yeah.
I think we're mathematically secured of avoiding Brazil. I think
You
even right
sure?
now,
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah.
We're on 7 points.
Yeah, but Paraguay has only two games, so they can theoretically they could.
Uh, okay,
Um,
so let's take a look at this. Wait, so let's
yeah.
go back to this. I have the table here. So let's
All
say
right.
if we win Group A, the winner of Group A faces
Yes.
the fourth of Group B, right?
Yes.
So that's fine. Now the runner-up of Group A versus third in Group B, which is not going to be Brazil. So the only way you could face Brazil is if you finish fourth in the group, which we won't. I mean,
Right. Or third. Yeah.
kind of. Yeah.
I was thinking about avoiding them until the final, right? If we are to
Right.
progress, because
Then that would
facing them in the
then we have to finish
semifinals.
first. Then we have to finish first.
Yes. No, or second, as you can see there.
Oh,
You
sorry, or
see?
second. Yes, yes.
Yeah, because we already in the last Copa America we had to face them in the semifinals, and that was the end of the road for us. Maybe because it was
Right.
designed in a different way, the bracket, yeah, it
The
was
bracket.
designed in a different way. But it's early to discuss that. We'll see. We'll see. Let's. What do you think if we talk a little bit about some of the individual performances? I mean,
Yes,
maybe the big
absolutely.
ones, right? The best ones, the ones
So
that we're not
the
playing
good,
so much. Yeah, they're good.
the good. What do you think, Seba?
I mentioned already, Papu and Di Maria had a very good first half, and then they were fading out a little bit in the second. So that's why I picked Nahuel Molina Lucero as my pick for the game today. Obviously, always
Mhm.
talking about not Lionel Messi, right? Because there's Messi and then there's
Forget
the
Messi.
rest. The rest,
Forget Messi.
yeah. So Molina for me, I think he was great in the first half. He was joining in the attack a lot more
Mhm.
often. As Safwan is saying, he had to mark Almiron, who was the best player for Paraguay and always a
Yeah.
nightmare because that pace is electric. I mean, he can really cause you problems. But he was composed when he had to defend. And when he joined in the attack, he was doing very, very well as well. I remember a combination between him and Agüero that Agüero was fouled. We thought that it was a penalty because it was just on the edge of the area. That pass to Agüero was coming from Molina, who was
Oh, yeah.
almost playing as a forward in that move. So then he wasn't asked to do a lot in attack. After that, we scored
Mhm.
really early, and then we sit back a little bit, as we mentioned before. So to me, he was one of the best. To me, he was the best of the game in two
Really?
halves, right? Yeah, if you
Wow.
consider the first and second half, yeah, for how steady he was. I
Mhm.
mentioned Papu and Di Maria were better in the first half than
Yeah.
Molina, and then
Yeah.
overall, I will pick Molina. Yeah, all things
Okay.
considered.
Okay. So I kind of I would put him in the top maybe in the top 3 for Argentina. I don't think he was the best, and I'll give you my reasons why in a couple of moments.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'll give it right now.
Yeah.
I thought up until maybe the 35th minute, I thought Molina was excellent. But there was the last 10 or 15 minutes of the first half where Almiron was destroying him for pace. And I know it's Almiron,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
obviously we know how he is. But I really, really thought Molina was struggling there, and I thought that's when we were missing Rodrigo De Paul, because versus Uruguay, whenever they would attack through Molina's side, De Paul was always there to help him out. So I think there was that 10 or 15 minute stretch where I thought Molina was really struggling. He was getting skinned alive for me.
Yeah,
but
it was a stretch.
The second half was better.
I agree. I remember a couple of actions in which Almiron just passed by. He was unmarkable. I mean, he was difficult, and that was a good thing to see how the central defenders were helping, were supporting. They were supporting Molina very well, because we didn't struggle that much. We didn't have a miraculous save or them hitting the post or anything like that. I never felt like our lead was in danger. So
it was it was similar to the match versus Uruguay in the sense of, like you, I never thought the lead was necessarily in danger. Obviously, they just need one chance and they could score. Thankfully, that didn't happen. But it was kind of alarming at one point, and we mentioned it, so I'm not going to get into it again. That the team did sit back, although the team defended very well, and I thought Molina, Romero, I thought Pesela was actually very good. I thought he was a very good replacement for Otamendi. I thought those three were excellent. Tagliafico, I mentioned this before, I love Tagliafico, but he was not good at all. He struggled a lot. Defensively, he struggled a lot. And moving forward, aside from that one run, which actually almost led to a goal where he played Correa
in the final couple minutes,
in the final, I thought he was poor up until that period. So for me, the back line, I can't pick any one of them that really stood out, because I thought they all did well. I thought Papu Gomez did well in the first half. I thought Di Maria for me was my man of the match. I'm going to throw that out there. He was my man of the match. But I agree with you, Seba. I'm going through the comments here. Anthony says, Tagliafico was terrible today. Patrick Alvarez mentions, Acuna superior to Tagliafico.
And to that point, sorry to cut you there.
No, go ahead.
To Patrick's point, and also to Peter, Acuna is a must in the starting 11. I think it is what Scaloni is seeing, because as we mentioned, tonight he sent the second string, Messi, Romero, and probably a couple of the starters that I see Scaloni is going to stick
to.
Not
Montiel, sorry.
Molina. I mean, the goalkeeper, Martinez, he's the starter. Romero, Molina, and Messi. Those are the 4 starters that I think are going to start against Bolivia as well, and the rest is going to be replaced, in my opinion. Well, that's my prediction, so to speak. So, to the point of for Patrick, he was saying Acuna better than Tagliafico. Maybe this is a confirmation, because Scaloni sees Acuna as the first option now. I think he won over that position. I think the two factors combined, Tagliafico not playing to the level that we know he's capable of, and Acuna really playing at times superbly, at times superbly, So I think he's going to be back in the team. Rodrigo De Paul is going to be back in the team. Maybe Scaloni tried Paredes and Guido Rodriguez together today, because what I heard and what I read is that Lo Celso is not doing so well in terms of his recovery from his ankle injury. So maybe he's looking at different options, because he may not be ready for Bolivia. But I think Lautaro is also going to be restored as the starting attacker, or number 9.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask you and everybody in the chat, what is the general opinion about Agüero's performance today?
I mean, we'll wait for everyone to talk. My opinion was not good. His first touch was
Mm.
very bad. That and forget the chance that he had, because that was a golden chance. And he pulled the Palacio in the World Cup final. He went high where he should have gone low. But that aside, forget that. He killed a lot of the attack. His first touch was horrible. His passing, he gave away. He had two very, very poor passes where he was not under pressure. He really wasn't under pressure. A very bad pass. Two of them. One, I just looked at it. Like, how is this even possible? I'm surprised Scaloni started him in the second half. I was expecting him to get replaced right away at halftime. That's how bad I think he was. I think it was not down to fitness, because Aguero, his movement wasn't bad. It was his touch that let him down. And I think today, more than any other match, I think today Lautaro Martinez solidified his spot as the number 9 for Argentina, just because there's no one else on the team.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of those points. I wouldn't be that brutal, because when we were talking about Lautaro, I remember some of the same points were being mentioned, but I think it's the system that is not very friendly with the number 9s, with the goal scorers, with the poachers, and I think Agüero was a victim of that. And I do think that his lack of fitness and his lack of match sharpness, not being there, I think it played a part. And I also think that the team, Scaloni tried a couple of things to help him out, because he wasn't very much fit. Radijit is saying the same. He didn't look very much fit for me, and that's why I think Scaloni went with a double central midfielder combo, Guido and Paredes, to give the team a lot more support, because they knew there were not going to be a lot of running from the trio
Aguero
of
or Messi and Di Maria.
Papu, Di Maria, Messi, and Agüero was not going to run back as much as Lautaro, because that's what we also mentioned when we were talking about Lautaro. He offers you a lot off the ball, and sadly Agüero cannot offer you that at this point of time. Maybe because there are different stages in their career, different ages, but also different fitness levels, and that's why I think Lautaro is going to be introduced again, and Agüero is going to go back to role of a second half substitute, try to make an impact. So we'll see how it goes, but I wouldn't be that brutal or cruel against I'm not saying you were. I wouldn't.
I mean, maybe what I said came off as a little bit harsh on Aguero, and if that was the case, I do apologize. It wasn't my intention. I just thought that every time he kind of got the ball, you could tell his misplaced passes and his bad touches. And for me, yes, that's part of the system as well, right? But at the same time, when you can't play a simple pass and a very simple pass, at the end of the day, you have to take responsibility. But I think at the end of the day, Lautaro definitely won his spot. I mean, it's not going to be Julian Alvarez.
No. And for this system, you have to still consider that Scaloni played Lautaro throughout. Ever since he took over, he said, "This is my number 9." And Lautaro, let's not forget the fact that he didn't score in the last round of qualifiers and the first couple of Copa America matches. That doesn't mean that he forgot how to score or forgot how to play. And he was, if I'm not mistaken, he was top scorer for Argentina in the last Copa America, or at least he scored a few. And then he's a top scorer in the Scaloni era for Argentina. So, I think Scaloni is going to go back to Lautaro. Today it was a good opportunity for Agüero to play some minutes, and for Argentina to win with the second string. And what a second string it is! I mean, that is a very competitive team. Yeah, of course.
It's a team that won, that got a 1-0 win. It was ugly, sure, but they got the 1-0 win versus Paraguay. And we've had much better teams. Argentina has had much better squads, play better, and not being able to get the win versus Paraguay. So I'll take this. I'll take the second string after 4 games of being tired. This is the 5th game. I will absolutely take that.
Last win against Paraguay was 2015, the semifinals of the Copa America that was played in the US. It was a 6-1, by the way.
In Chile.
That was in Chile. Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
16 was in the United States.
The previous edition of the Copa America. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Thank you for
So
that.
no, it happens. So that was the good. What about the maybe less good, the not so good, and everyone in the chat as well? I want to hear what you guys think. Not so good,
Yeah,
Seba.
please. Well, we mentioned it. What happens after we score? The amnesia that we have.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
seem to forget how to play football. So to me, that is the most important deficit that we're showing, because it's not only for tonight. It was happening throughout. We remember, of course, the last two we won, but before that we played the three other games, two in the qualifiers and one in the Copa America against Chile, where we went ahead and then
yeah,
we couldn't take all 3 points. At least tonight we got it. Um, but it's a worrying sign. What is going to happen in the future if that continues to happen? Because I don't like the team tempting the fate so much. If you score, you go ahead, try and give the knockout punch. That is what you have to do. And then yeah, you can sit back, relax, save some legs, try to play beautiful if you can. But
yeah.
like this, making us
No,
suffer until the very last kick of the game, where they can get a corner kick or a free kick, and that's it. I don't like it. I don't like it.
no, no, absolutely not. And against a stronger team, I mean, the feed that I was watching, it, the commentators mentioned, if Paraguay had if Argentina faced Brazil and Brazil get the chances or the possession that Paraguay had tonight, obviously would be a different score,
Yeah,
most likely a different score. So
I
that
want to
is
see
worrying.
that. I want to see
Sorry,
that.
you want to see that?
I want
I
to
want to
see.
see
I
that in
want
the
to see
final. I want to see that. No, absolutely, and I don't think there was necessarily one bad. I mean, you mentioned Tagliafico. I don't think he had a very good game, so I would probably put him in the not so good. Other than that, I found it very difficult when Argentina actually had the ball, when they had the possession. When Paraguay pressed, they were giving the ball away very cheaply. They were not able to swing around a couple of passes. So, as you mentioned, and that is something that is worrying. I'm gonna put that down to fatigue on this being the fifth game in about 2 weeks, and hopefully the rest and the match versus
Yeah,
Bolivia will give us a much better idea as to where this team is. But on the plus side, um, it's Cleon mentioned this, or he mentioned earlier. He said this should be a starting defense, but at least the back line is doing well because Romero was blocking everything. Molina, as
oh
we
yeah,
mentioned, second half played better. Pasela's positioning was very good. He's not the fastest, but still positioning more than made up for his lack of speed. So we're giving the ball away a lot, but we're putting out a lot of fires. And I was impressed by Romero, the amount of fires he put out, the amount of times he went out wide to get, to clear the ball or put in a tackle, or the amount of times he went straight down the middle in the center. We have a leader. I don't know if this is down to Ajala and Samuel being in the team, but for the first time in a long, long time, I'm confident with our backline.
yeah. Me too. And I would change the left side of the defense that we saw today, and I think it's going to change. It's going to be Acuna on the left as a left back,
Yeah.
and Otamendi is going to be back in the team. I think, not because I would choose that. I would like to see Lisandro Martinez. I would like to see him today. He wasn't picked. Maybe the aerial game
Could be.
had something to do with that, with Scaloni going for more physical presence in Pesela, more experience as well in the national team. But I think Otamendi is going to be back, and let's be fair with
Yeah.
Otamendi, because we like to criticize him when we see,
Yeah.
but he's been playing very well lately.
Yeah.
He hasn't been playing that
He,
bad, except for that moment in which Chile equalized in the first
yeah.
game of Copa America. But that the team was very exposed. He was going back, and well, he didn't have a very good intervention then. But overall, he's playing good. Yeah,
he played well, but I mean, we mentioned it versus Chile. I thought he had a very, very good game versus Chile up until what happened with the penalty. I thought versus Uruguay he had a very good game. I thought him and Christian Romero, when you shut down Suarez and Cavani the way that they did, and the aerial balls that they won, because I mean, Uruguay sent in a lot of crosses, and
Yeah,
Suarez and Cavani are as good as they come when it comes to the aerial balls, and Otamendi
yeah,
cleared them. So credit to him. Honestly, credit to him. Yes, as you mentioned, we sit here and joke around and maybe criticize him, and sometimes a little bit too much, to be honest. But he's kept that back line together a couple
yeah,
of times, and he's bailed them out. He
yeah,
has
yeah.
bailed them out.
Where is everyone in the world watching from? Just
Yes,
let us
let's
know.
let's let's find out. It's 11 p.m. where I am. Seba, you're just past midnight. It's 12:10,
Yeah,
11 where you are.
yeah.
Let's see where a couple people are. I know we had earlier Bangladesh. I think Anthony said he's from Barcelona. So let's see. Let's see. Where is everybody from?
John from
Let
Malaysia
us.
was logging
John,
in.
yes,
Yeah.
John. Zach from Morocco. Master
Woohoo.
Punjabi.
Morocco, the land of Adel Tarabt.
The
Streets won't
CPR.
forget. Yeah. Hello
The
to
streets won't
Morocco
forget.
there.
That's it. That's it. Paro,
Bangladesh.
we have Paro from Nigeria, Pablo from DC, USA,
Nice.
India, Las Vegas for Miguel, Jamaica
Nice.
for Cleon. Everywhere. Mo, I think I saw Mo from
Amazing.
Lebanon. It's worldwide. It's worldwide.
This is great.
Albania. Wow. Albania.
Punjabi,
Sweden.
Punjabi.
Sweden,
This is
Albania,
great.
Bangladesh, India. Yeah, it's wow, wow. It really is Mundo
I'm
Albiceleste.
impressed.
It's the world. It's worldwide. It
Yeah.
really, really
I
is.
told I kept the promise. I told my mom. She was very happy. I told my
Oh
mom. Yeah, I told her. She was very happy.
yeah.
So yeah, my mom says hi
Well,
to all of you. Yeah.
there you go. Oh, Patrick from Montreal. So I'm based in Montreal right
Ah,
now as well. So Patrick, Montreal, Ghana as well. So well, on the note that you mentioned, Seba, regarding you had mentioned to your mom. I would like to honestly, I would like to thank everybody for joining us. Last time around, we have over 8,000 views on our last post match, Argentina versus Uruguay. Over 8,000 views, incredible. Honestly, I can't thank you guys enough, everybody. Let's see if we could beat it this time around. Another 1-0 win, another important win. Let's see if we could beat it.
I didn't bring the bottle of wine. Maybe people were logging in to see me drink wine live, but I'm not gonna do that today. I have to work tomorrow.
Yeah, it is. It's true.
So,
It is a Monday. Last time was a Friday.
exactly. Yeah. Let's keep it. Let's keep it
And
simple. Yeah.
yeah,
Where's the
well,
bottle of
here we
wine?
go.
Yeah.
So where's
I
the
don't
bottle of
have it.
wine,
I don't have
Seba?
it. Sorry. I don't have it tonight. What do I have? Yeah, I have a sanitizer. That's the kind of
Don't
alcohol
drink
you're
that.
not
Don't drink
supposed to drink. No, no, no.
that.
Of
Don't
course.
drink.
I'll keep it there. I'll keep it there.
Don't drink. Oh, so one last question for you, Seba.
Yeah.
It's no, but honestly, it's always a pleasure doing this. It's always very,
Yeah.
very fun. I enjoy this. I look forward to it. One last question, Seba. You're man of the match. If you had to pick one
Well,
player,
um, well, I think Almiron was very impressive. But talking about Argentina,
Argentina.
yeah, I mentioned. Well, you're gonna make me pick between Molina, Di Maria. I'll pick Molina for the duration for the 90 minutes. Yeah, I'll go with Molina.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So you with Molina.
And
Go ahead.
alien, and oh, no, I wanted to say alien of the match, Lionel Messi. Even though I've seen him perform
He's
different kind of
he's had
wizardry. Yeah,
yeah
he,
he's
he
had
was
better
he was a
matches.
bit quiet. Yeah, he was a bit quiet today.
Yeah.
Alien of the
Well,
match.
alien of the match, Lionel Messi, and your man of the
Yeah.
match, Molina. Cleon says Romero. Jason, I agree with Jason. For me, it was Di Maria. Uh, I can't think of a single time where Di Maria had the ball, and after I said, "No, what did you do, Di Maria? No, pass it." I for the first time, honestly speaking, I think for the first time in a long time, I watched Di Maria, and he was solid. He really was. And throughout the 90-minute, or throughout the entire time he was there, that he played, for me, he was my man of the match. He helped out defensively a lot. The runs he made, the amount of times he would run forward, hold the ball, play the
Yeah.
pass, the fouls that he took. So for me, it was Di Maria. I understand, obviously, Molina. I totally get that as well. So,
Yeah.
again, I would say Molina. top three. I would say Molina in my top three. Wes Mills says Cuti Romero. So seems to
Yeah,
be the vote.
my top three are Molina, Di Maria, Papu Gomez, and Romero up there. Yeah. Yeah,
They're up
but I
there.
think there's a general consensus. We saw good things from these guys that we've been mentioning. We saw
Yes.
maybe Tagliafico and Agüero being on a subpar compared to the rest. And
Mhm.
what did you think about the double holding midfielder combination? Because I
So Paredes and Guido.
yes, did you like that experiment of both of them playing
Eh,
together? I think they
no,
took.
I thought Paredes didn't. Yeah, go ahead.
I think they took something from each other's game. Maybe they needed more room to operate, and both of them
Yeah,
combined, and the way the way the game was played out. Because I would have liked to see what they were able to do if we were attacking. Like if we had a lot of numbers up going up front, and then having them had to cover a lot of ground because arguably they didn't have to move from their little area of the
pocket.
pitch because both Papu and Di Maria, especially in the second half, were very close to them, helping them out, so they didn't have to cover for the fullbacks. So I think I think today was a good attempt, a good experiment. I didn't think they shown
Yeah,
as they could have done individually. But
it
the team was
it could just
composed.
be a lack of
Didn't
chemistry.
could be yeah could be a lack of you know minutes playing together, understanding,
Yeah,
but also the context. You have to be conscious of how the game is played around you because,
mhm.
as I said, it's not the same if we were having to worry about Paraguay counterattacking because that was my main worry ahead of the game. What if we go for it, we can score, and then Paraguay hit us on the break with Almiron, with Romero, with all the guys that they have that they can fly down the wings, and
Yeah.
that would have been interesting to see. But we never left. We never left Guido and Paredes very exposed, so we didn't see the best in their game, and maybe because of that, they had a quiet game. In my opinion,
It,
I didn't see them that much being like in the center stage.
yeah, no, we saw nothing. I mean, obviously moving forward or in attack, sorry, not for Dominguez, Rodriguez, sorry, Guido Rodriguez moving forward. He had one or two plays where he actually had a nice little dribble, nice little back heel.
Yeah,
But I agree. I think it was mostly down to lack of chemistry. I
mm.
think they were kind of, how can I put this? Like you said it perfectly. They took something of each other's game. And I think we need a bit more time with that. Although, if I'm being honest, I would probably for the next match, I would rest Paredes and go with Lo Celso just to see how that combination works. Nothing against Paredes. I love him. I love his passes moving forward and everything. Although I feel like we haven't seen that from Paredes in the past couple of matches because we know what he can do moving forward with his balls, with his passes, with his vision. We haven't seen it. And
yeah,
to a certain extent, it felt like we missed Lo Celso grabbing the ball and running and trying to create something.
yeah, and linking up because I think
Exactly.
we missed that. I agree with Azad because we missed that link between or what happened after we recover the ball and we bring it up. Um, Messi was dropping very deep to get in contact with the ball, which is not so great to see. I like to see him
Yeah.
more from opposing the opposing
Opposing.
field, yes,
Ah,
near the box. But yeah, maybe for next game, if he goes back to what we've seen against Uruguay, maybe um, Guido keeps his place, Paredes is replaced, Lo Celso goes back into the team, and we see a similar lineup as against Uruguay. We'll see how it goes. But I wanted to touch base on those two because we
yeah.
haven't spoken about them. I think they were the only ones from the starting 11 that we haven't spoken yet,
Mhm.
and I wanted I wanted to mention them. Yeah.
No, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we mentioned briefly, actually, even the substitutes. We didn't really talk about them, but you mentioned Angel Correa at one point. He was the only one, kind of. He was the spark. He was the spark. De Paul, I thought he brought some stability to midfield, but with De Paul, it was more defending than attacking, and I think that was an obvious
Yeah.
substitute.
Yeah. At points, I saw the Paul going to pressure.
Mhm.
Whoever had the ball for Paraguay, he was like running on his own, and I didn't like that because it felt like he was going on a separate mission as the rest of the team. The rest of the team were waiting, and he was going to pressure. Maybe that was what Scaloni sent him out to do, but it didn't make a lot of sense. And I saw it in a couple of passages of play. And then he wasn't very confident on the ball tonight. So I didn't think that these kind of games suited him, or maybe he needed more time to get accustomed, or he
Yeah.
needed a different kind of game with us having more of the ball, and we were chasing it. And so that's why what I didn't like about the ball tonight. I like him. I think he should start, obviously, but
Yes.
that's what I saw of him tonight. And then Nico Dominguez had a good intervention there, had a good introduction.
Mhm.
But obviously, they didn't play that much
On
for
his
us to
side.
be able to judge their performance that much. Maybe Joaquin Correa was the one of the substitutes that played the most, and we've spoken briefly about him.
Mhm.
He was more worried about defending. He was far away from playing the kind of role that he can make an impact for the team, a positive impact for the team. So I think he suffered from the system, same as a couple of other players. Um, and I think that's the substitutes done for the night.
That was
Are we
it. No, that
missing?
was it.
Yeah,
No, it
that was
was
it.
not. We had De Paul for Papu Gomez, Correa or Angel Correa for Di Maria, Nico Dominguez for Paredes, and Joaquin Correa for Aguero.
Good.
But we spoke about all this, all the positives, all the maybe the not so good. But there was one thing we actually left out. It's the fact that Argentina are unbeaten in their last 16 matches, which
Hmm.
is still impressive. The last time Argentina lost was the Copa semifinal versus Brazil almost 2 years ago now. In July,
And
it'll be 2 years.
you know what this means in Argentina when you do this?
Mm.
That you were robbed. So that day we were robbed. This is a slang. This is what we inherited from Italy. This is what you see me moving my hands a lot. In
Mm.
Italia, in Italy, they speak a lot with the hands, and here as well. And when we do this, it means you were robbed. And I think we were robbed that day against Brazil. And before that, we lost against Colombia in the first
And the Copa, yeah.
game of that Copa. Yeah, but yeah, it's been impressive. We faced Germany, we faced Brazil in this run of games.
Uruguay twice.
Uruguay twice, Chile a couple of times.
Yeah.
Even though they were friendlies against Brazil, we beat them 1-0. Germany was a draw. We were down by 2 and we equalized.
Came back.
So it's not like we played all easy games.
No.
It's not the case. We're
But
unbeaten in the qualifiers. There's some good signs. I would like to see more expression, more, killer instinct. Go
yeah,
for it.
I'm
Score 2, 3.
I'm optimistic in that I think this 1 week break will give the players the rest that they need, because a lot of these guys, the European club season finished and then they jumped straight to the qualifiers, and then after the qualifiers right away it was the Copa. So I
Yeah.
think this week will help a lot. I think we're going to see a refreshed Messi. I think we're going to see a refreshed De Paul. De Paul,
Mhm.
he runs a lot. Hopefully this break helps Lautaro Martinez,
Yeah.
sharp, Nico Gonzalez as well. So I'm optimistic in that.
Yeah, now we have a full week, and the players are going. In case you didn't know, there was an agreement between the EFA and the organizers, the CONMEBOL, and everyone, that they were going to allow Argentina to go back to Argentina after
Yes.
some of the games. So they're flying tonight from Brasilia to Buenos Aires, and they're going to stay in their headquarters it's just near the airport. As you exit the airport, it's only a 1 minute ride in a bus, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. But it's really really close to the airport, and Argentina has a world class facility there, really near the airport. Whenever you go to the airport, you see it on the right side when you're driving, and they're gonna be there. They have the rooms, they have perfect pitches, they love it there, and so they're gonna be back home for a week, and then they will fly before the game against Bolivia, and this is gonna do wonders for the team, for how they
Absolutely.
live together, they share the same experience. For young players to be next to Messi all the time, it's the kind of things that makes it very very interesting for young players, and for the team to gel, for the team to get some team spirit back together, and some good rest. Being at home always helps.
No, absolutely, absolutely, and it's all these things. That's why I'm optimistic. That is really why I'm optimistic, because all those things you mentioned, plus a draw, plus two big wins, they have it. Had this match ended in a draw, I could see it. The 2 points lost, it's
Yeah,
fine. Had it ended in a loss and a defeat, then okay, maybe not as optimistic. But hey, a win versus Uruguay, a win versus Paraguay, with some players rested, you have absolutely every reason to be optimistic. Absolutely.
yeah. I'm very likely after the Bolivia game. I don't know how many days are gonna be there in between the Bolivia game
Let's see.
and the quarterfinals, but they're gonna be back in Buenos Aires again, and then again fly
So
out to Brazil.
the so if we finish top of Group A, we play July 3rd. But let me just
So it's
yeah,
like
we
five
finish
days, right?
July 3rd, and Argentina versus Bolivia is June 28th. So 5 days. Yes,
Yeah, 5 6 days. Yeah, that is good. That
still
is a
good.
good break. Yeah, it's
Yes,
very good for recovery, and it's not so long after you play, which is always, it's always nice for teams to play mm, every week, every 5 days, 4 days. I think that's good.
yeah,
It will allow the team to get into the rhythm uh, a lot more.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. Um, Seba, anything else
Yeah.
before we finish tonight?
No, no, just keep it coming. Keep the three points coming.
Yes,
But as we've been mentioning, I hope it improves after we score, and you know, I have no problems with us scoring within the first 10 minutes of the game. It gives me a lot of happiness, relief. But if it's gonna mean that after that we're gonna see a lackluster performance and not a lot of intent. We haven't spoken about the goal that was never an offside.
yes,
It was a complicated, but I didn't know. I don't know if they show the replays everywhere in the world, but what they are judging as offside is when Di Maria takes the first shot. Messi's position there is blocking the view of the goalkeeper, and he is one step offside, little
yeah,
tiny step offside. So, in my opinion, it was a good call in that sense. Obviously, if you are left with the last replay when the cross comes in, Messi tries to head the ball, but he was never offside. Well, the reason why they give it as an offside position was the previous, just before that. After the rebound on the keeper, in comes the cross, but just before that, Messi was a tiny little bit offside. I think it was a
they
tough call,
they
but they
yeah
got it right.
they showed the replay here, with the lines, with the VAR, the offside lines. He was offside. They showed it
Mhm.
in the second half, at the very very start of the second half. It was offside. Um, so it
Yeah,
happens. At least it didn't cost the team, and they got the
yeah,
3 points. They
absolutely.
got the 3 points.
So we were wrapping up. So back to it. Let's hope
Yes.
for another
So
3 points.
on
Yeah.
on the on this day, and I'm gonna end this on a very positive note. On this day, June 22, 1986, Seba, what happened?
And 9-year-old Seba was very, very happy. that was never going to be disallowed. The second one, right?
No.
Forget
So
about VAR. I mean,
you
we have to thank we had no VAR back then, but the second goal,
so for those
oh my
maybe
god,
not not sure unaware, June 22, 1986, Argentina 2, England 1, World Cup quarterfinal, Azteca Stadium, Mexico. Diego Armando Maradona, hand of God, goal of the century.
I was 9. I don't like many of the things that come with age. I don't like being old, but I'm very happy that I was alive and old enough to remember I was 9. That was the first World Cup that I remember clearly, because the previous one in Spain, 82, I was only 5, and I remember a couple of things, couple of conversations with my grandfather, but that was it. And then when I was 9, I Mexico 86 happened, and I remember every single minute who I was with, where I was. I remember I watched the Italy game at school. I remember everything from that, and what a World Cup it was. The best one, the best one ever for an Argentine fan. I mean, that was fantastic. That was fantastic.
I might, if I have enough time tomorrow, I might. I have the match saved on my hard drive. If I have
Nice.
enough time, I might go back and watch it. That was, uh, you can't, you can't.
It was
The hand
tense.
of God,
Yeah.
the goal, the second goal. It's you can't do that. You can't. I mean, I know, and I love Messi to death. I worship the ground he walks on, and I know he scored a similar goal to Getafe in the Copa del Rey. But to do it in a World Cup quarterfinal in the heat with a horrible pitch versus England,
No,
and
it
I'm
was
not,
too
comparing.
much.
So forget. I'm not even trying to compare, but I'm just saying that Maradona goal, that performance.
No, it was too much. We're never gonna see something like that again. I know there's a lot of football to be played, but like that, with that kind of tension, that kind
Yeah,
of context, that kind of result, and what happened after, because it wouldn't have meant the same. It would have been huge, but it wouldn't have meant the same if we hadn't go on to win it all. Um, but that was like a turning point. It was perfect. There's nothing to add. Nothing to add,
no,
really.
no. It was that, and we're gonna end it on that note because I think that's
Yeah,
the best note we could we could
yeah,
end on. 3 points for Argentina. The Diego Armando Maradona show, 1986 on this day, June 22.
yeah.
Moti says the twist, the run was a masterpiece. Everything was a masterpiece about that. That was. Ay, 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 ay. It wasn't the same. I mean, Papu Gomez scored today. It wasn't the same kind of goal. It was a nice goal, not on the same level. But
No, no, not at all, not at all.
still, it got us to
Yeah.
three
So
points. It got us to 3 points, and it got us to talk on a very positive note with
yeah,
everyone in the chat. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Honestly, we're gonna be back. That's for sure. Make sure to, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. What are you waiting for? To never miss a thing
I
regarding
don't
the
know.
Argentina team. I was the first one to hit that subscribe button. I'm just saying. So thank you, everyone. Always fun, always a pleasure. Once more, my name is Roy Nemmer of Mundo.com, joined by the one, the only, the living legend himself, Sebastian Garcia. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Seba.
Thank you.
And until
Happy Maradona versus England anniversary, everyone.
yes,
Happy Maradona
happy
versus
Maradona
England
Day.
game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have a good one, everybody. Take care.
See
Bye.
you. Bye bye.
Bye, guys. Bye. Have a good one.